So coming for the fourth unit, it is related to the national income. Okay, so till now under microeconomics, what were we learning? We were learning about the individuals or a firm or a company, how they are taking the decisions and how these people are going to have the demand, supply and all those things. So that was the microeconomics part. Okay, so coming for the macroeconomics, the second half of your syllabus. So macro, as you all know, it is nothing but large. Okay, so when we are talking related to the economy or when we are talking related to the nations into consideration, we call that to be a macroeconomics. So here what do we talk? We talk about the aggregate demands, we talk about aggregate supplies. So at a larger extent. So what is an aggregate demand? It is nothing but the total amount of goods and services that will be purchased by the consumers at all possible prices. Yes, so our aggregate supply we are going to talk about. It is the firms who are all the firms which are ready to sell the products at a prevailing prices which are there in the economy. Okay, so we talk about aggregate demands, aggregate supplies, taking the entire nation into consideration and everything. What are the policies, what are coming up, how the development is happening in the country. Okay, so when we are talking about all those things, it comes under the macroeconomics. So under macroeconomics, the first part you have is related to the national income. Okay, so national income, I think you already have an idea because you do it somewhere around in your 7th or 8th class when you are in school. Yes, so coming for the history of national income, Dadabhai Naoroji was the first person who calculated the national income of the India after we got the independence in after 1947. So in 1949 they formed a committee, what we call it as the national income committee. So it was being headed by the Mahalanobis. Okay, so they were preparing the like what is the total national income, what is there and everything till 1954. Later on this was handed over to the Central Statistical Organization. So from 1955 onwards the Central Statistical Organization was preparing it, and every year the prepared report will be printed under the national accounts statistics. Okay, so coming for the national income, many people have to find the national income. So we'll take the National Income Committee of India 1951 definition. If you see the second one on the screen, so what does it say? It says that the volume of commodities and services they have been turned out during a given period counted without duplication. What do you mean by this? You are not supposed to count twice or thrice when you are taking the volume of commodities and services. That means that the goods and services have to be counted only once. Okay, so basically all these definitions, whether it's been given by Marshall, Oryx and everything, see what does it say? If you see this definition, it is the total market value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy in a given period of time. Okay, so what is a total market value? Market value is nothing but the amount what is being paid for the product when it is being purchased by the consumer. Okay, so that is the market value. Yes, the final goods and services, when we are talking of the final ones which were being given for the consumer to consume, they are being called as the final goods and services. So for a given period of time. So when we are talking of usually we say that we have an financial year. So it is from April 1st to March 31st. So within this 1 year period, whatever are the goods and services which have been produced, we are going to take them into consideration. Okay, so if you see the another definition, it says the sum total of factor of incomes. Yes, so what is factor of incomes? If you remember, I explained you about 4 factors of production. Okay, what are they? Take a pause of the video and try to recollect if you want. Yeah, what are they? Land, labor, capital, okay, and organization. Okay, so for land, what do we pay? We pay the rent. For labor, we pay the wages or the salaries. For capital, we pay the interest. For the entrepreneur, you pay the profit. Okay, so this prices, whatever are being paid for these factors of production, we call them as factor incomes. Okay, yes, so the incomes which are being paid for this factors of production are being taken into consideration. Okay, yes, we are also saying that it is from the activities within and outside the economic territory. So any company which is producing the like the goods within the country, or any of our Indian companies which are being operated outside, that are also being taken into consideration, that we call it to be the national income. Okay, yes. Now, coming for this national income, we'll be before we go for this. There are two types of incomes. What usually we talk of. One, we say that it is factor income. The other one is the transfer income. Okay, factor income, just now I have said, that's nothing but the rent what we have been paid, the wages what are being received, the interest which is being paid, the profit what is being got, and everything. All those comes under the factor incomes. What we call them to be the bilateral incomes. Okay, why are we calling it to be a bilateral? Because they are two-sided incomes, because you are giving land to someone. So for that land, someone is paying you the rent. You are giving your money to someone, they are paying you the interest. Okay, so it is two-sided. Okay, you have one more type of income, what we call it as a transfer income. What is a transfer income is nothing but, if we call it to be unilateral also, it is only one-sided. Okay, see, subsidiaries which are being given, or any gift which is being received and everything, or the scholarships what are being received, they are all come under the transfer incomes. Okay, so when you are computing the national income, we don't take into consideration the transfer incomes. We consider only the factor incomes, because you are going to give something and you are going to get it anything in return. Okay, so to understand better, we talk about the circular flow of the economies. Yes, so you have basically we study about the two sector model, three sector model, and four sector model. Okay, so when you are coming for this two sector model, when we are talking of, you have two things taken into consideration. We'll add one more also in this two sector later on, once you understand this two. So we have one to be the household, if you are able to see. The other one we call it to be the firm. Yes, who are households? Households are nothing but the customers what the company has. Okay, the people who are working and all those things. So they all come under the household. Basically, who consume, they come under the households. Firms who are going to do the business, who are involved in manufacturing of goods and everything, we call that to be a firm. Okay, so if you see, there are arrows which are coming both the sides. Yes, so we'll see one set of an arrow first. Here, what is happening? First set, if you see, households are going to give the factors to the firm. Means what? The households are going to supply the land, labor, capital, or entrepreneur or enterprise. Here what does it mean is, when they go for partnerships, or when these people are coming together to do the business and all those things, joint stock companies and everything, then we call it to be an enterprise. So households are going to give these factors, okay, so to the firm. So because by taking these factors, what is the business is giving back to the households? It is giving the goods and services. Yes, ma? Okay. So this flow, whatever you are seeing, the households giving the factors of production to the firm, and firm giving the goods and services to the households, we call that to be a real flow, where money is not involved. Now, understand the money flow process. What is happening? So because they are taking this land, labor, capital and everything, they make the factor payments. Yes, they make the, for labor they are going to pay the wages, for land they are going to pay the rent, for capital they are going to pay the interest, for entrepreneurs, or they get the profits and everything. So business is going to pay the money for the factors of production. Now, how do the households make a payment? Households are going to get what? The goods and services. So for that goods and services, what are they going to make a payment? They are going to make a payment for that goods and services. So that we call it to be an consumption expenditure. So you have a real flow and you have a money flow between the households and the business firms. Okay. So for this two sector model, if you take into consideration, one second ma, something... So this is what we call it to be the two sector model. So we include one more under this, the financial market. But before that, what are the goods and services that we are going to have? Basically, when we are talking of, okay, we have the classification of goods and services in two things. One is the non-economic or the free goods, what we don't at all talk. Yes, because we are talking about economics. Economics is always about the economic activities where involvement of money is there. So the economic goods are of two types. One we call the final goods, the other one we call it to be the intermediate goods. Okay, or intermittent goods also we call them as. So final goods, you have two types. One we call them to be the consumption goods, the other one we call them to be the investment goods. What are consumption goods? Consumption goods are nothing but which have been given for the final consumption to the customers or the consumers. Okay, what are the capital goods then? Capital goods are nothing but which are used for manufacturing of the another products like transport, the road, the buildings which are been there. Okay, all those things comes under the capital goods. Okay, then what are intermediate goods? They are nothing but the raw materials, whatever are there, or semi-finished goods, whatever are there. Means you do a certain process on that and you are going to get a final goods to it. So we talk under economics or we talk under the national income only related to the economic goods. Okay, yes, and especially when we talk about the national income, we talk of only the final goods. Okay, yes. Now, so this is what are final goods and everything, explanation part. Now, see, we spoke about the household sector and we spoke about the firms. Now, you have one more which has been added for a clarity. I just taken it. So coming for here for the two sector, one more thing what we add over here is the financial sector. Yes, okay, so financial sector, financial market, money market, all means the same. So what do you have in this? It's you have RBI, stock exchange, commercial bank, and all those things are being covered under this financial sector. Okay, so now households, when they are getting the payment from the firms, yes, okay, in form of wages, rent and everything, they will be having certain savings. Yes, so that savings they will be putting it into the financial sector. So what do this financial sector do? See, whenever you're going to put your savings in the bank has to give you the interest. Yes or no? Okay, so it is going to give you the interest. How they are going to give the interest? When the bank is going to reinvest the amount whatever you have given. So it can happen, the flow can go in the other way around also. So you are going to put your money over here. So some other person requires certain loan. Yes, a household requires a loan. It might be for their personal reasons and everything. So again, for the households, the financial sector is going to give the loans. In the same way over here, the firms, the profits, whatever are being left, they can put their money in the bank. Okay, and whenever another firm requires or this firm requires, they can take the money from the bank. Okay, in the form of a loan and everything. Okay, so both the sides you get the savings, and both the sides from financial sector to the firms or to the consumers, the loans are going to happen. Okay, so this is related to the two sector model. Now, coming for the three sector model, where the government is being involved. Yes, ma. So how do the government is going to do with the households or with the business? So what's going to happen? We'll see the households first. Households are going to pay what? They pay the net pay tax payments. What do you mean by the net tax payments? They pay all the direct taxes. Like we pay the income tax on the salaries, whatever we receive and all those things. We make the tax payments. Okay, property taxes, whatever it might be, they all come under direct taxes. Yes. So households are going to make a payment to the government. Then what do the government give for the households? They give the wages, salaries for the people who are being employed in the government sector and everything. They get the wages or the salaries. Or what does the government do? The government is going to give certain subsidies to the households and everything. Yes, ma. Now coming for the firms, if you take into consideration what is happening, the firms are going to pay the taxes. Here the taxes are of two types. One is the direct tax, the other one is the indirect tax. Direct tax is corporate, and the indirect tax is GSTs and everything. So what do the government give for the take from the firms? They are going to purchase the goods which have been produced by the firms. Okay, so businesses are going to pay the taxes and government is going to purchase the goods from the business firms. Why do they purchase? Because when they put this price ceilings, price floors and everything we studied, right? So they required the goods to be distributed. So they purchase the goods from the firms and they are going to give it for